To make this recipe, you'll start with 2 pounds of chunks of beef. This recipe will make enough for 8 people. About 6 roughly chopped mushrooms, flour, 1 chopped onion, 1 chopped large shallot, 1 grated carrot, herbs of Provence, salt, pepper, 3 grated garlic cloves, 2 bay leaves, some butter, which we'll add later on, pancetta Italian-style bacon or regular bacon, whatever you have, about 1 liter of chicken broth or beef broth, and a good quality red wine. I'll be cooking today with a Syrah. You can use a Zinfandel, a Cabernet Sauvignon, or a Pinot. In this pot, I have a little bit of grapeseed oil that I've heated, and now I'm going to saute my pancetta bacon. Here it's sizzling, and we're going to just stir that around until it's kind of crispy and delicious smelling. So while our pancetta is sizzling, and oh, it smells so delicious, I have my bowl of flour. That's about 3/4 of a cup of flour, to which I'm adding about a tablespoon of herbs of Provence, about a teaspoon of salt, and about a teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper. And I'm just mixing all of this up in a bowl. And now we're going to toss our meat into this. Take a couple additions to get this all coated. I want it kind of heavily coated. It even just smells good already. Okay. So as you can see, these little pieces of pancetta are bubbling nicely. Too bad you can't smell them, they just smell divine. Next addition is 3 cloves of grated garlic. Oh boy, this is really going to intensify the smell. My carrots and my shallot. The difference between an onion and a shallot is mostly in flavor. Shallots are a little milder. They're not exactly interchangeable, but I like to use both because one gives a stronger flavor and one gives a sweeter flavor. And the purpose of the carrot in this dish is for the sweetness. And that's why I grate it. Some recipes will call for chunks of carrot. That doesn't appeal to me. I like it grated. It'll add the sweetness that I'm looking for without the chunky vegetables. So I'm kind of sweating these vegetables, and they're just about ready for me to add a nice knob of butter. Kind of start to saute a little bit, and then when the butter's melted, I'm going to add the chopped mushrooms. Stir them in. And just continue to saute. Oh, they smell so good. All right, I've moved my first pan over onto another burner, and I'm just lightly sauteing those vegetables together. I have another pan here with some more heated grapeseed oil, and now I'm going to be putting my floured seasoned meat mixture into this pan and brown my meat. It's always best to start with your meat dry. The drier the meat is, the better the browning will be. And any of the flour and seasoning that's left over at the bottom of the dish, just sort of dump in. That'll help to be your thickening agent. Well, as you can see, this is browning beautifully. I told you would just know when it's brown. You can start seeing the beautiful brown glaze that's appearing on the meat. So this is just about ready for us to start with the addition of chicken broth and wine will be the next ingredient. I'm going to start with about 1/2 liter of chicken broth, probably about a cup. Well, more than a cup actually. And I want to watch this thicken. Remember, you've got your thickening agent in your flour on the meat, so as this heats up, this will start the thickening process. And then at that time I'll decide if I'm going to need to add more thickening or less. And that'll determine how much chicken broth I actually put in. Take a couple minutes there. So as you can see, our chicken broth and meat is well done and forming a beautiful rich gravy. But I am going to add the remainder of the chicken broth before we add the wine, before we add the sauteed vegetables. And then actually it just needs to sit on the stove and cook slowly for about 2 hours. Here's a little kitchen witchcraft trick that is a really helpful thing to know about. I'm not 100% happy with the liquid in here. It needs to be thickened, but if I were to add flour to it now, I could end up with a really ugly mess. So the little trick is you take about 4 little pieces of old French bread, a baguette, whatever you have on hand, it doesn't really matter, and you put it in a blender with some of the broth, and then until it becomes a liquid, and then you use this as your thickening agent. Put it in small doses until you're happy with what the consistency is, and already I can see I'm happier. I'm much happier with the thickness that the bread is adding to this mixture. That little bread trick works beautifully with any kind of soup or sauce when you've already added your flour and you still need it to be just a little bit thicker. You can do this in either order. I'm going to actually add my meat mixture to the vegetables, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want this mixture, the whole bourguignon, to be in the larger pan, but you can just as easily add your vegetables to the meat. I have 2 more ingredients to add. We've got the vegetables nicely incorporated in the meat. It's just beautiful. I'm adding 2 bay leaves. We'll fish those out later. These are strictly for flavor. And now the wine. Once you've made your wine addition, never add another addition of wine. It has to all go in the first time or in the first few minutes. If you add wine after 30 minutes or so, it will produce a real bitter taste. I'm going to stir this all together. Oh, it just looks beautiful. And now I'm going to just taste it for seasoning, and then it'll be ready just to simmer for about 2 hours, and then it'll be completely finished. I'm not actually going to serve this until Sunday, so it's a nice dish you can make ahead of time.